It's that time of year again in Polk County when parents need to start thinking about what they're going to do with their young children when the summer gets here. With us today from Explorations 5 Children's Museum is Sue Schulander, the Education and Operations Director. Sue, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us. We'd love to come back.
Well, tell me, what is it that you have planned for summer camp this year? I know that every year you have exciting stuff that kids just can't wait to get their hands on.
We do. We have two different camps each summer. One is for children ages 4 through 6, and that's our storybook summer camp. The other is for ages 6 to 12, which is our adventures summer camp. So I have some activities I brought from each one to share with you today.
Fantastic.
So our storybook summer camp is just what it says. We focus on storybooks. Each day has a story or storybooks. We actually do 2 a day that go along with the theme for the week. I brought a few. This one I believe will be with Curious Cooks, and this one is If You Give a Moose a Muffin. So I'm sure you could probably guess the activity that might go along this one. If you give a moose a muffin, you're going to be making
Crossword puzzles.
Well,
not so right?
I guess we didn't read the story yet. So once we read the story, then you might notice that then we're going to be eating some muffins.
That makes more sense.
And actually making the muffins first. So it's really fun for young kids to be able to mix and measure and stir things together and actually then bake it and then eat it. And sometimes they try things they've never tried before, since they're the ones that have put the ingredients together and made it. So that's one from that week. Another one, another favorite story from the same author is If You Give a Pig a Pancake.
I'm going to guess that there are no muffins involved in this one.
No, not in this one.
Okay.
However, what would be your third choice?
Well, since there's a pig, I would say bacon, but I'm going to guess pancake instead.
Yes, it is pancakes. We have a great recipe where the kids can actually mix their dry ingredients with their wet ingredients, and it makes just one little bitty pancake big enough to eat and enjoy. But that's another favorite of the kids, is If You Give a Pig a Pancake.
No,
so
I'm sure. I know that
each day before the teachers read the story, they actually will go over new vocabulary words for the story. Then they'll read the story and they'll do some sort of an activity to go along with that to kind of reinforce what the kids have learned. Storybook Summer Camp is actually funded in part through United Way. We do have some scholarships for that camp. And it's intended to help children who are getting ready to go into kindergarten, or those who have been to kindergarten and have a little bit of a hard time and need a little bit of a review before they can go on to first grade. So they do a lot of vocabulary, a lot of stories, but lots of fun activities also.
So not only are they going to have a lot of fun, they're also going to be learning.
Yes, yes. And then we also have the gingerbread man, but we don't want to be sexist or anything, so we also have the gingerbread girl. So whichever you happen to be, the gingerbread man or the gingerbread girl, but I'm sure you'll guess we'll make some gingerbread children. And you can make gingerbread children not only just to eat, but you can make gingerbread children to smell with by using cinnamon and other spices. You can make them out of paper, you could make them out of sandpaper, lots of different activities that we can do with this.
Well, I know that's always an interesting part of your organization, as far as I'm concerned, is the fact that the name itself, Explorations 5, it has to kind of do with all 5 senses.
Yes, yes. And we, throughout the summer, and actually all of our daily programs, we try and use all of those 5 senses and do a variety of activities. So we do that. The last one I brought from Storybook Camp, though, is The Little Red Hen. Now, this is known as a big book. As you can see, it's much, much larger than something you would use. And it's actually used when you're reading to a group of children, so that as you read, everybody can see the words and everybody can see the pictures. And I don't know if you're familiar with the Little Red Hen story.
I believe the Little Red Hen is the one who does all the work and everyone else is lazy.
She does do all the work and everyone else is lazy, but in the end, she makes...
I'm sitting here in rapt attention, just waiting to find out.
She makes bread.
Bread! Of course she makes bread.
All right. And of course, in this story, seeing as how she did all the work, she gets to eat it all herself also. But anyway, and one of my staff did remind me that even though they would make bread that week, they would not be making their bread probably from scratch like the Little Red Hen, but they might be making some bread of a slightly different form, but they would be making bread.
Well, it definitely sounds like a lot of fun. I'm
So.
sure the kids are going to be learning so much from everything you're doing, like you said, with all 5 sentences at once.
Yes, they love it. And the teachers have a good time, too, coming up with all the different activities.
Now, what's the other camp that you have
Now,
coming
the
up?
other camp is what we call our adventure camp. We have STEAM adventures, which is science, technology, engineering, art, and math all together.
Well, that's a mouthful right
we
there.
try and do lots and lots of different activities. So what I brought today, I have 2 different activities. One is a science activity, and we are going, can you blow up a balloon?
I can certainly try.
But we're not going to use our mouths, okay? We're going to let you
Ah.
blow up the balloon using science,
Ah.
okay? So this is an experiment that we might be doing there. Now, first of all, we have to use our powers of observation here. This looks like it's probably what?
A bottle of quarter-filled water?
Bottle of water. It's exactly what it looks like. Unfortunately, the water was gone and I used it to hold something else. So we have to use our powers of observation here and try and figure out what might be in this bottle. So first of all, would you say this is a solid, a liquid, or a gas?
Since it's not a muffin, I will say it's a liquid.
All right, looks like it's a liquid, looks like it moves. What about the color? What color would you say that is?
Oh, I would say it's clear.
All right, so actually it has the properties of water, right? It's clear, it's a liquid, but we're going to use our sense of smell since there is no label on here. We're going to use our sense of smell, but we're going to do it very carefully and use a scientific test on it. It's called a whiff test.
Okay.
Okay, so when I take the lid off, what we're going to do is hold the bottle close to your face, but not right under your nose, and push the air from the top of the bottle towards your nose and just take a sniff. See if you can figure out what that might be.
Oh, I would say that that was vinegar.
I think you're right. It actually is.
I got one right.
Yes. It is something, though, that we try and teach kids. So if you have an unknown substance, to not stick your nose right in it, but actually to use that whiff test to be able to do that.
It's a great way to stay safe.
Yes. So what we're going to do is we're going to use vinegar, and then we have another white. Would you say this one's a solid, liquid, or?
I would say that is a solid.
That's all right. So this one here, this is something else we
4 years
find
of
at
college
home.
work.
Home also. Now this one you have to measure carefully because for this science experiment you have to have exact measurements. I already measured this exactly in there. But when you start scooping a powder, you've got to be able to measure exactly. So we always provide sticks to the kids and enable them to be able to do a flat, this one happens to be a tablespoon measure. So what we're going to do, this may be part of our teamwork. Would you prefer yellow or green?
Let's go with green.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to hold this on here for you because this takes 2 people.
Okay.
So I'm going to hold the balloon for you.
Fantastic.
And I'm going to hold the funnel, and I want you to measure 2 level tablespoons into this balloon here.
Okay.
So fill it up and then scrape it off, and then it's going to go right down in there.
There's
And
one.
I'm just going to tap it and get it down into the bottom of the balloon.
Get a little bit more in
That's
there.
right, yep. And this is something that a lot of children don't have experience with, cooking or measuring or anything like that. So we do a lot of different activities like this. But as you can see, it would take 2 different people to do this because you can't hold this and scoop and scrape and everything else. So, all right. So we've got your 2 tablespoons of, what do you suppose that might be in there?
I'm going to guess baking soda.
I think you're right. So then the next part that takes some teamwork is one person has to hold the bottle while the other puts the balloon on top. So if you want to do that, then I'm going to take this, and I don't want any of my powder to get into my bottle yet. There. Okay. So, oh dear. Let's get some air back in there.
There we go.
There we go.
Perfect.
Okay. Now what we're going to do is on the count of 3, I'll hold the bottle
Okay.
in the back, and then if you'll just tip up the balloon and shake that in there. But do you have a guess first? You have to always have a hypothesis in science. What do you think is going to happen when you dump that baking soda into the vinegar?
Well, since we're attempting to blow up the balloon, I'm hoping that it's going to have a reaction and cause the gas to fill up the balloon and
All right.
blow it up.
Let's try it and see. You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
1, 2, 3. All right, and as long as we have the lid on there tight, we should have our reaction
Keep our fingers
contained to be able to blow up our bottle. So there we go. Now, if you
Fantastic.
can imagine doing this in a room full of 20 or 30 children all at the same time, and everybody has theirs ready, counting, and then they start to blow up, and of course it's,
How much
Plus-
fun would that be?
yes, and then of course we have to also then decide who has the largest balloon. So then we have to line them all up next to each other to figure out, who did the best job of measuring with their science
Plus, they're
experiment.
also learning about the difference in sizes by
Yes.
doing that.
Yes.
All 5 senses.
That's right. So we have lots of things. Anyway, so we do, like you said, that was a lot of fun to be able to do that. They enjoy doing that, but at the same time, we tossed in some new vocabulary words. We talked about hypothesis, then a whiff test, solid, liquid, and gas. So at the same time that they're having fun, they are learning a bunch of things.
Definitely.
So like that. All right, our last activity that I brought is a teamwork activity.
Ah,
All right.
what do we have here?
So we have our teamwork skis here that we'll be using during our teamwork week. Takes at least 2 people. Actually, we only made skis for 2 people. You can make skis for 3, 4, and 5 people if you really get enthusiastic and you think that you have some people that could do that.
Gotcha.
But anyway, all right, so skis take at least 2 people, so we'll let you have that right there.
Okay.
You can be the front person, and I'll be in the back here.
Okay.
All right, so we each have our feet on the skis, and we're holding the rope. We have to remember that we're going to lift our feet, but we have to pull on the rope at the same time to be able to lift the board as we walk.
Okay.
Now, this takes communication skills as well, so I'm going to tell you that we're going to count to 3. When we get to 3, we're going to start with our right foot. We're going to lift our right foot first and go right, left. And are we going forwards and backwards, or are we going forward and turning?
Go forward and turn.
Okay. All right, remember
We're going to live
turn,
on the edge on this one.
Turn slowly. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
1, 2, 3. Right, left. Right, turn slowly. Left. Right, left. Right, left. Right,
Ooh,
left.
excellent.
See, if somebody's leg gets tired and puts it down too soon, then you can't lift yours if mine is still on here. So
Do
we
we
have to
wanna
be
try
able
to
to
go in
work it.
reverse?
All right, we can try. We're starting with, you can give directions this time. Are we going right or left?
Let's go with our right first, since we seem to be starting out
Okay,
there.
and when are we starting?
And 3,
Okay.
2, 1. Right, left. Right.
Not quite as easy.
No, not in the least.
Not knowing
Right.
where you're going.
Left. And one more. Right.
Okay.
Oh, and we are
There we
there.
go. All right. Good job.
Fantastic.
We did a great job.
Excellent.
All right.
Well, that was a lot of fun, and thankfully I didn't fall on my face.
With children, of course, sometimes that does happen. As I said, sometimes they lift the board and not their foot, or lift their foot and not the board. So it takes a lot of coordination as well as teamwork and be able to communication skills to be able to talk to each other about what you're doing and where you're going.
That was a lot of fun. Sue, why don't you tell us a little bit more about when the camps are happening and what times?
All right, we start on June the 9th, which is the Monday right after school gets out. Each week of camp, as we said, has a different theme. Parents can sign up children by the week, or they can sign up for the whole summer. There's discounts for, we call a multi-week discount. If you want to go the whole summer, there's a discount. There's discounts for siblings. There's discounts for members also. Camp is from 9 to 5 daily for the older kids. It's 9 to 4 for the younger ones. We do have early drop-off and late pickup if parents need that. If they're working and need to drop off their children early on their way to work, pick them up after work, they can do that. Camp does include indoor museum exploration as well as the activities, plus outdoor play also. We try and include that in every day. Plus their snacks.
Can't
Lots
ask for
of
more
fun.
than that, can you?
You know, like pancakes and things like that.
And muffins, yes. Well, Sue, thank you
Yes.
so much again for coming out and telling us about summer camps this
All right.
year.
Thanks for inviting us.
And remember, if you're looking for something fun and educational for your kids to do this summer and are interested in finding out more about Explorations 5 Children's Museum, give them a call at area code 863-687-3869, or you can check them out on their website at explorations5, that's with a V, .com.